G'day everyone. Just bringing you another video showing you what I've recently completed, and in front of you now are 10 gripping beast Strathclyde horsemen. Now, just to be clear, this is a different project. Those who've been watching the channel will know that previously I was doing a series of videos on a Strathclyde warband for Saga for one of my long-time faithful customers in New Zealand, Mark, and yeah, and he used all footsore miniatures. Now these are the gripping beast Strathclyde miniatures. I'm pretty sure they're also just used generically for the Welsh and perhaps other things, I'm not sure, but they're all metal, 28mm. I believe this range was sculpted by Andy Dormer. If anyone knows different, feel free to leave a comment, but I'm pretty sure it's Andy Soapy Dormer. And yeah, I painted a few figures sculpted by him over the years. Yeah, and they have that kind of unique style that's his. So yeah, nice figures to paint. Some nice folds and creases and things like that, particularly in the cloaks. They're not overly complex or fussy, and they take the paint really well. Yeah, they're a nice range. Now they are on more realistic sized sort of ponies or small horses, rather than say larger ones you get with other ranges. These are much more likely to be in the size of small horse or large pony, or whatever you want to call it, that the Strathclyde Welsh would have had available to them, as far as we know. I don't know, as I like to say, I wasn't there, but we can only surmise. Well, opinions vary. It's like we can't really be sure 100% what they wore. We can be fairly sure of things like what kind of colours were achievable for early medieval dyeing and things like that, because we're able to experiment with stuff today. But as for matters like, did they wear a lot of plaid? That's really, we don't know. So these guys are not the highest of the high status warriors. I've tried to keep them relatively simple. There's actually only one guy who's got a bit of plaid on him, and that's a guy with over here. He's probably and he's also got the most sort of colourful green, which I was a bit surprised at how bright it was. And in the end, I put some glazes over it to try and tone it down a bit and sort of highlight it down a bit. And it's actually just an olive green from Vallejo, but yeah, I really shook the blazes out of it, but it still seems quite bright to my eye anyway. I guess I'm used to doing fairly what to my eye are more realistic colours for this era, with only the highest status guys having probably brighter clothes. Although these guys, I think, are fairly colourful. So I've used, as far as horse colours, and I'll start to turn them a bit just so you can see a bit more of them. As there's 10, they're going to fill the whole shot and probably go off the sides. So maybe if I probably might bring them forward a tad, or maybe a few forward at a time. I don't know. Now I see already losing some off the side there. Right. Okay. Yeah, so this is for a new customer. So the way I work is that they stay with me. The figures stay with me until the actual painting's paid for, and then they get shipped out, and often the postage side of things sorted out afterwards, because it can be hard to know exactly. I can get a rough guesstimate of how much it's going to be, but it's nice to know once you've actually been to the post office, because sometimes I've been and the prices have gone up a little bit and things like that. And with a lot of these, I like to put them nowadays in a brand new box each time. Bought from the post office, so that they're nice and sturdy, and that it's not going to be compromised in any ways, because we know sometimes stuff can get squished in the post. So let's just bring a few of them across. Hopefully the camera will focus. I mean, at the moment it's focused on what's at the back, so I might have to bring the actual camera back a bit so you can just showing some of the figures, some of the horse tones that I've chosen. Okay, bring the camera back a bit, might be the best idea. Okay, so yeah, here they are. So I've got some of these sort of more sienna coloured horses here. I can't think of their proper name. Yeah, these kind of cloaks, the way he sculpted them, really good for I find them good for blending and that kind of thing. Nice curves and stuff on them, folds. Now, for most of the where's the brush that I used? I'm trying to see where I put it. Oh yeah, back there. Excuse me while I reach over, grab the brush. It was tucked back there. Sorry about that. Yeah, so just to show that you don't need teeny weeny itty bitty brushes to paint with. What you need is something that's got a good point and can keep its point. Now that looks a bit wonky and chonky, but it's actually pretty good. This is an El Cheapo brush. This is a size 9. A size 9. Now, normally we're used to painting with zeros, double zeros, ones, twos at the most. But you can actually do a lot with a big brush like this. And I find I can get more done with this than I can with a diddy little brush. Now, having said that, I do use like really good quality sable brushes. And at the moment, and I've been trialing out some, because I got them as a gift for my birthday. Well, I was given some money so I could buy them as a gift for my birthday, a box of Artis Opus Kolinsky sable brushes, which I believe are made for them by Rosemary & Co. anyway, I think. And they're pretty good. I've been using them. I used them on all these, and I use those brushes for painting the skin. Pretty much, yeah, almost exclusively the skin, the faces, that sort of thing. Yeah, but yeah, they're pretty good brushes. But just as good as those I know I mentioned to you before, I've picked up some brushes made by an Israeli manufacturer, Recab, pure sable brushes, and they are a lot cheaper, and they are just that the particular size, I think it's the size 2, I've just found superb. It's so far equal to Winsor & Newton Series 7. So we'll see how it goes performs over the long term, but you know, sometimes you find with brushes that one batch will be a bit dodgy, or you know, a particular size is better than another one, but their size 2 that I've been using has been fantastic, and I can do super detailed stuff with that they're really good. It's the same with the Artis Opus. Most of what I've done, the faces and things, I've done with the Oh, the size too, because they come to such a good point. I don't really need to go much smaller. The only time I was going smaller was, oh, look at this, classic. Bloomin' super glue, don't you love it? It's not so super anymore, is it? I'm going to have to go back and glue that. There you go. I'll keep that in there. Because we've all had that happen, particularly with shields. So let me put these to the back. What was I rabbiting on about? So yeah, I'm going to have to super glue that back on. I mean, to be honest, not easy to get a good hold with these. And there's no way I'm drilling and penning hands and stuff to get them into a shield, because you'd go straight through the shield. It would be a recipe for disaster. Yeah. And if you want to use 2-part epoxy, then, you know, that's tricky as well, because you've got to somehow get it to stay level, because it wants to fall off. Ay, ay, ay. And unfortunately, these shields don't have any sort of divot or anything in them, any holes that sort of make it easier to lock it onto a hand or anything like that. They're just sort of basically flat. Oh, well, there you go. Okay, so the shield decals, they're just basic little big men ones. Just simple shield designs so far for these guys. They were a bit larger than the actual shields themselves, so they didn't actually fit properly. But so what I've done, I've just used the whole decal, but I've had to, because that was actually protruding out beyond the size of the shield, so I actually bend it around and wrapped it all around the rim, and so the actual end of the decal is on the rim of the shield, and so then I go back in and paint back over the rim with the leather color that I use for my shield rims, which I believe is Vallejo Flat Earth, Vallejo Monocolor Flat Earth. And then like all my shields, they get a good couple of coats of ultramatte varnish to seal it in. So yeah, they were a wee bit big, but that's okay, we could remedy it. So yeah, got this neat guy in the middle with a small sort of battle horn thing in his hand. It's quite cool. Yeah, they're quite characterful miniatures. Got a style of their own. So you can see I've used, I've done a couple of greys there as well in the mix. And this is a different colour brown, this one here. I think this is the one I did off the, start with a mix of mahogany and black, I think, and build up from there, just from memory. Because the other ones are more sort of reddy orange, like this one. Yeah, so let me just spin them about. So yeah, a mixture of different brands and types of paint. Well, not types of paint, but brands. Let me think. I've used some Reaper paints. I've used AK Interactive 3rd Generation, which I'm really liking as a range. Really good. Vallejo Monocolor. Scale 75. Used a lot of Scale 75. They're really nice paints. Yeah. The only ones that I don't use and I won't be getting into is I've got no real interest in Army Painter or in the GW stuff, just not my jam. No. I am curious about when, because Vallejo is supposed to be releasing its own version of contrast paint called Express Color, which will be at a pretty reasonable price point, I should imagine, in comparison with other brands. So I may try some of those. Not that I use them in the contrast sort of method, but they'll probably make nice washes and glazes, particularly for wood and leather and things like that. So I may grab some of the browns or something. We'll see when they eventually get to Australia. Usually takes a while to get down here. So we'll see how that turns out. So yeah, there we are, guys. So as usual, I'll put some stills at the end. If you have any questions or sensible comments or anything like that, please drop it in the comments below. Yeah, it'd be great to hear from you. Thanks for all those new subscribers. We're slowly ticking over. I guess I could have more, but I think that would be down to the fact that I don't make videos all that frequently. I have thought, I could make more videos, but it'd just to be about fairly, I don't know, things like, I could have done a video just on those Artis Opus brushes that have arrived, or I don't know, some new paints, like I got some new paint arrived, and that kind of thing. And if look, to be honest, I'm happy to ramble about that sort of stuff too. But if people are interested in those sorts of things, just let me know, and I'm happy to share with you those sorts of things as well. Things that, materials I've used or stuff I've tried, what I think about it. If people think that might be useful. Okay, guys. Well, hopefully I get to send these off to my new customer soon. And I think next I might go and do some Romans. One of my long-time customers over there in Victoria has sent me some Romans. And it should be interesting because he sent me some metal Romans from Aventine and some plastic Romans from Victrix. Thankfully, I don't have to put the plastic Romans together. I don't do that. I don't, tell my customers, you put them together, I paint them. So, yeah, so that should be interesting. I think that'll be my first ever, from recollection, first ever Victrix miniatures I would have painted of any description. I'm sure I have painted plastic miniatures before, both Perry and War Games Atlantic, and maybe some others I can't recall. But yeah. Anyway, guys, another long one from me, as it always is. Bit of a ramble, bit of a catch up. Like I said, if you've got any questions or things you want me to cover, please leave a comment. And I really appreciate you for watching, taking the time to watch my videos, and subscribe and all that good stuff. And we'll see you again on the next one. Who knows, could be some Romans. Bye for now.